Hello, today is September the 18th, 2021, and I wasn't going to do it, but I really feel the call to read on Brian Laundrie. Now they say, which doesn't surprise me, that his parents don't know where he is and that they haven't seen him for a week. You know, his parents really put him up for Parents of the Year. These people, they've raised somebody like him. And I know that you can have great parents and crappy kids, but you know what? I don't think this is a case of that. I think this is a case of them catering to him and this kid thinking the world, he can just do what he wants. Like I said, I saw in my reading a great deal of passive aggressiveness in him. And it just turns out I'm hearing more and more now as I'm watching articles and information come in about him, and it just confirms what I saw. It just makes my it annoys me. I mean, I don't care that this kid's got problems. Okay, you know what? My kids have problems, but at the end of the day, if they do something that's wrong or that is mean, I don't cater. We let them know. You're being an a-hole. Doesn't matter if your kid has mental health problems. You don't, or some kind of spectrum differences. You don't allow them any kind of room like that. So I've got this little shadow deck, and I want to use this to read, because remember I said he got the devil. So he's let a lot of his negative coping mechanisms, if you will, or rather lack of, come into play, like jealousy, negativity. What did I tell you? I even had some woman that had the nerve to post, and I just took it, I just removed it, but something like, you got it backwards. She was the aggressor. You tarot readers need to learn how to blah, 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 blah. It's just like, bye. You're gone. You're never going to be, this channel will never see you again. And the funny thing is, she ends up, I'm not trying to be a bee, It's like, yes, you are. You're doing it super passive aggressively and super wrong. This guy, they both had problems, folks. They both had problems. But look who's missing, and look who came back with her vehicle without her. So, all right. And all he had to do is, if she was getting out of control, is call the police. Get emergency help. And just say, okay, sis, police are here. They're going to deal with you. You're crazy hitting me. I'm out. Here's the keys to your vehicle. I'll be asking my parents to, get me a ticket or whatever. That's what normal people do. And normal people, by any means, even those that have mental emotional issues. That's what you do. So, yeah, don't come to me if you're going to say, she's the aggressor, blah, blah, blah. No, get out of here. There was a problem with both of them. But he's ultimately the one with more of a problem. There's a reason she hasn't gotten in contact with her friends or family or emergency services, okay? So I'm going to look at Brian Laundrie, and I'm just going to, because now he's gone AWOL, according to his family, who are saying they don't know where he's gone. I think they let him get a head start. But who knows? He could have just taken off. And as I said, my cards picked up on him being in a disassociative state. So I think there's a kind of a shock, all right, and a trauma. Again, I don't think that it wasn't that they didn't love each other, but what I saw was there was like love-hate. There was a really intense relationship. That came up over and over again. But, something happened. And I saw a lot of violence in that relationship. I think they triggered each other. And then you've got people cooped up in a little van for 24/7 for months, over a month, over 2 months. It's not good. And especially people aren't taking any kind of therapeutic, much needed medication. That's evident. And it was evident that that was unbearable for her. I just feel it. So anyway, I want to look at Brian. I want to see what's going on with him. I think it's possible he could be the type that could take his own life. Although he is very, much a coward. I think that would be a last resort. But I'm going to pull these cards for him out of this shadow work deck. See if we can get anything out of that. And this will be for him. Okay, this will be what it's saying for him. The work he needs to do. Which, obviously he has a problem with some shadow elements here. A lot of them. It's why he got the Devil card and why I said what I did. He's got just too many negative underlying attitude in his life. So another thing I want people to do before they comment is to make sure they really listen to the reading I've given. And it just amazes me how the few people that do respond that way, how many of them don't seem to have really listened to the reading. But most of you guys, don't do that. So anyway, let's go ahead and throw down what we've got. Greed. You are too attached to things in an excessive way. Nothing good comes out of it. Well, when you've got a greed problem, it's because you fear lack. And I definitely feel that Brian is a very fearful person. That's why he lashes out. That's why he does the passive-aggressive stuff. All of that. Locking her out of her own car. He was not a gentleman. He was not a gentleman. I mean, I could understand, if she was really, going after him for, one time. But, this was something that was a habit that he had developed, it seems, while they were traveling. I don't think it just happened once. And I'm going to pull one more. Superficial. You care too much about outward appearances. Start with your inner work, your value, your self-esteem, your personality. Well, if Brian sees this, that's certainly what he would need to do. Let go. I think it's a bit late now. But let go of being too clingy, too needy, too fearful. Nothing good comes out of that. And being too superficial. Lacking inner work. And he's got a self-esteem issue. He has a poor sense of his own value. And he needs to put some work into his personality. Too dull. Too one-dimensional. I think that's somehow valid. Now I'm going to shuffle. I'll put this on pause for a minute while I'm shuffling, because otherwise it could be a good 3 minutes of, or at least a couple. Okay, so I'm asking my spiritual mentors and the Creator, the one most high, holy, loving, source of wisdom and truth and life, to guide me and my reading so I can read accurately and clearly what it is we need to know with regard to Brian Laundrie, how he is, what's going on, if he'll be found. So we want to see this from his perspective or the universal perspective upon him. What do we need to know? We want to see this also, as I said, from his perspective. What's he feeling? What's going on? Will he be found? I hope that he is. I don't want him to either get away or get away by making a, you know what I mean, a final exit. I want him to be around to answer questions and face consequences. I think that's more important than giving somebody the death penalty. But some cases just are so evil that I understand why people want the death penalty. You know, I get on the fence about it sometimes. But this, I think at the long thing end is better just to deprive them of everything and stick them in a room for the rest of their life. Because those people can't be rehabilitated. We don't need to stoop to their level, but get them off the streets, you know, so they don't hurt anyone else. So let's look at Brian. And it's very unfortunate. I think they did really care for each other. But I think they have really toxic issues here, especially him. Especially him. I did not get the negativity on her. That devil card came up. And I'm not trying to say he's an all bad guy. I'm saying he's very disordered. Okay? There's something like really sick within him that he needs help. He should not be getting involved in relationships or anything like that. That's what I mean. All right, let's see what he's doing, what we need to know, if he'll be found. So we're going to take a bird's eye look. Okay. Here is the King of Wands. This is activity. And it's being in like an adrenaline mode as well. Because it's fire. You know, this kind of energy isn't the type of energy that sits still. Very often you have entertainers that come up with wands. You know what I'm saying? So, or athletes, people. But in this case, I think that adrenaline is because of fear. Because he is very fear-based. Remember that. About his personal security, his own welfare and well-being, his life, the things that he likes in life, wants to have in his life, the way he wants to live his life. And that is in peril. That is going to be challenged. His thoughts are for himself, okay? I'm not saying like, oh, I'm so sorry about what I did so far. Now, I might. But right now, it's all about his own skin. And I think taking off with her car, locking her out, also shows the kind of state of mind he has. Again, I don't know that I think he's just too selfish. Jealous of her, possessive of her, controlling, all of that. I got that. The devil is the ultimate controller and making somebody else miserable and not caring about it. This isn't good. It's betrayal and heartbreak and shame, I think. And this is what we're getting the basis of his actions, of what's going on right now with him. All of that is upon. I think he's hurt her and did something actually physical. Unfortunately, it's confirming my fears from my last reading. Okay. Crowning him, the Knight of Pentacles. This is that kind of that mentality that it is determined to follow certain steps, do certain things to achieve an ends. Very determined and very focused. So I think we get adrenaline going here and active. So he's probably traveling some way, somehow, and trying to keep his freedom. He's in an agitated state a bit, but he's also got a plan. And I think he has money. I think he has, I'm sure he got that maybe when he stopped at home. Or if he didn't stop by the parents' place, which I find hard to believe, but it's possible, I think he made sure that he had provisions, okay, to leave, financial and what he would need physically. That's not good for him either. The Ten of Wands. He's done something. That is Wands is what I get when there's been violence. And with the Ten of Wands, that means there's been some over-the-top violence. And followed by the other cards here, I think she definitely was harmed. And he's feeling tremendous burden about his freedom being lost. I hate to say it, but I think he more regrets the loss of his freedom. It's looking like here with the Three of Swords. These cards don't show a tremendous amount of anything more toward Gabby or anything about her, so much as the collective problem for him that it's become. That's troubling. I think he's a very immature, selfish young man with very serious mental, emotional dysfunction, who is not capable of being in a relationship, and it seems like neither a friendship, really, let alone a romantic relationship in a healthy manner. Here's more adrenaline, more running, more activity. The King of Wands, if it isn't pertaining to his actions right now, and I tend to think that it is, could also pertain to somebody that's helping him. But for right now, I tend to think that that's pertaining to his action, his energy, what he's doing, how he is. Very much so. I get movement. Leaving, possibly trying to leave the country. Because Everybody's following this story in America. Everybody. Good luck, guy. You know, where are you going to go? Mexico? You're going to stand out like a sore thumb. Jig is up. His life is coming down. This is sudden with the Tower, unexpected, disruption, chaos, violence, and loss. I don't think that I think he could not, you know, what I'm also picking up with the Knight of Wands and the King of Wands is a reactionary person. Very reactionary. Now, he was able to compose himself when the police came around. I think he's quite, what's the word? He's sly. And he knows how to manipulate. I think he knows how to manipulate better than Gabby did. It wasn't too hard to make her look like she was a crying, out of control person. And yeah, she may have lashed out at him, but we don't know the story. He may have been locking her out of the car, and I think they were kind of torturing each other. Like I said, this was a toxic relationship, but it did not give him the right to not do the right thing. If she was needing help, get her help and say, okay, I'm sorry, Gabby, this didn't work out. I'm going to be going home. All right? That's what a responsible person would do. But he's not responsible, and he's not concerned about anything so much as himself. He's very stunted. Queen of Swords. This could be a mother, or it could be even someone who is, I think, asking questions, like a detective, law enforcement, in the environment. I feel like it's somebody that's looking for him now. Unless this is his mother. I don't know who out of his family is speaking to the authorities, if it's the mom or the husband, but, you know, answering their questions, the question of, you know, the last time they saw him. I want to know a whole lot more. That. Did he come to the house? I want to know the whole, you know, and did he leave? What, you know, was that? Or are they going to claim that he never came by and he sent them a note, or left them a message on their windshield? Or I don't know what they're going to say, but I wouldn't believe it anyway. I don't know. I'd be very critical of their stories and check them out. Hopes and fears. The Wheel of Fortune, I think he's hoping he gets away with it. He wants to move. He wants to change, I think, out his luck and get ahead of this. Be able to stay ahead of it, not get caught. Not have that wheel come up to the time when it's like, okay, and now your luck's run out. Because it is the Wheel of Fortune. He's hoping his luck holds out. But there is movement involved, so he is traveling. And the more wands, Prince of Wands. So now we've got the King, the Knight, and the Prince, or Page. Activity. I think he could be possibly even a bit more dangerous, if that's possible now, because I see what looks like, with all those wands, a very volatile, worked up, pumped up with adrenaline person, yeah, who's agitated. I wonder if he's armed. I have my doubts. But I feel that definitely trying to get away, okay? Definitely trying to get away. And has a plan. And this goes on into like, here's the near future. And this is extended out, maybe to about a few more weeks past that. This is the now. This is the coming week or weeks. It can be months. I hope not, but it can be months. I think he could be able to get away for about a month, maybe. But let's just see what happens here. I really feel they will end up finding him. The Emperor. Well, this could be his father, or her father, or the authorities, to be quite honest. Paired with the Queen of Wands. To me, the authorities will definitely be getting active, looking for him. They already are. But this could be her parents. As well. And I just, with the Emperor and the Queen of Wands, I just get people with authority, getting perhaps the judge's, I know that they searched his house, and maybe his parents, but I think they'll get all those things, that they'll get all those, whatchamacallits, warrants. Obviously they got that. But because they've been given that authority. And there is fighting. They're looking to, I think this is her parents looking to bring this to a close. They're very angry with that 5. But they will temper their behavior. They will temper it. They will adapt to the way that is best forward to solve and resolve this issue. I like that I see temperance there. Especially to a very agitated situation. I think her parents are going to, look how agitated he is here. And I think they're going to try to appeal, perhaps knowing that and trying to bring this thing to an end and saying, look, just, Brian, don't run off. Don't do anything to yourself, please. Your parents wouldn't want that, and we need answers. I think it could be as simple as that. There are these extremes again, this instability, okay? Very unstable. One extreme to the other. So it makes me feel that Brian's, and again, this is all alleged for entertainment purposes only. I'm no medical doctor or psychiatrist, although I've certainly dealt with a lot of my own stuff. I'm going to reach out and say, when I see two extremes like this in somebody, bipolar, there's probably something going along those lines. There's some sort of extreme, maybe antisocial, but that's what I'm feeling. And so there's this instability I'm being shown. I think he can switch back and forth. That's why he's able to be calm with the police when they're there, but maybe loses stuff when they're not. The Six of Swords shows that there is endurance. There is, I think, bringing this drama successfully to an end, and I think finding him, perhaps also finding her with the Six of Swords. They will have endured a lot. I think there's an appeal that we've all endured a lot. You've endured a lot, you know. Yes, with this Ten of Swords. Let's just do things the right way now. So I'm seeing this difficult chapter being brought and guided to a close. The Devil, this is when someone, like I said, is in a state of disorder with their personality, where they have either addiction or obsession and violence, oppressing other people, and they don't care because they're so insecure. It matters more to them to secure what they want than anyone else's feelings here. You know, they hold them captive in a relationship. And we get the Devil and the Princess of Cups. I think that he was emotionally horrible to her. I think she tried to be positive, but I think she found pleasing him to be impossible. He was continually negative. It's not just slightly negative, folks. When I get the Devil card, that means this is a really saturated person with negativity. They really have something very wrong. Emotionally, it's showing me. And I'm not saying she didn't have emotional issues herself, but look who first came up missing, all right? End of story. Don't even come to me. There's something done here. And no, I don't think that she just went off and killed herself. No, I don't. But I think that what it will show is that they'll be able to find out some of the dark details. I feel like this is law enforcement. I feel like this is FBI, the way I see these eagles. And I feel like they will be able to successfully get information, come to an understanding. That makes me happy. That makes me happy. Three of Cups, Three of Wands. They will investigate, and they will investigate this deeply. This goes in deep, shall we say. And the vehicles are critical, and the driving. But that also signifies that any obstacles in the investigation will be overcome and that they will be successful. But I'm also seeing this traveling and the vehicle are key. There's something about that. I can't help but pull a couple more cards. Queen of Pentacles. There's something where I think a woman, there's some sort of identification. It could be identification of the daughter. Do they have the van? I don't still, or does Brian have it? This is the family unit, the greater family, extended family. It can also be about money, but there is, I'm being shown for Brian, there is restraint. There is something that he is holding, keeping back from perhaps his own family, from contacting them. I also think this is his family not giving out all they know. Yeah. There's their child. And again, this reading is about Brian. His childhood, the mothering. That feels like very much. This could be a sister. I don't know, does Brian have siblings? Could be an older sister. I'm not sure. Or his mother. But we get the Four of Swords, and I think the matter is brought to an end, brought to a conclusion. And what it's going to show is that, yes, just like the photos, the pictures and stuff, things were not as they appear. There's more to the story. And that includes with her and him. Okay? For both of them. But especially where Brian is concerned. This is his reading. And I think this is also connected quite possibly to wherever she's been placed, a resting place. I also feel like it shows that Brian's really, 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 really ill, mentally ill. With the Seven of Swords and the Four of Swords. He needs to be like hospitalized. Ace of Wands. This is a violent flare and a problem with inhibiting violent behavior or a temper. And don't forget, words can be just as harmful as they can be just as oppressive as smacking someone. And I think he really controlled things while they were traveling. And I think it was just too much. Because this temper flare, it shows up as a problem in his life, throughout his life. And now it's come full circle. And it's a matter, I don't think, that got resolved or dealt with appropriately. And yes, we can look to his parents for that. We can say, why did you baby that? Why didn't you get this boy help? There was some issue here with temper throughout his life. Justice is coming, and it will sort out what has been hidden. Bullying and toxic relationships, people that lock their mates out of their cars and leave them. I think also her hitting him, unfortunately. But there's an abundance. This is not good. It's not the kind of abundance you want. There's a need and was a need for nurturing rather than bullying and being critical. I have a feeling that guy was super, super critical with her. Unsparing is the word I just got. And then I think when she would say and try and please him, because she was a pleaser, I think he'd gaslight her. And I definitely get that, just like he gaslighted the police. I'm just glad the police at least got them separated from each other, but it's too bad that if he was that more together than her, then he would have called and said, this is a bad idea. We need to separate or whatever. He would have been, thinking like that, not like he was selfishly. Here we have selfishness again with him, I feel like. This is his withdrawing from communication, going into hiding, that whole thing. It's all about him. His mom may have helped him as well. Yeah, he's a manipulator. His radio silence. He's hiding. And trying to control the narrative at the same time. That's interesting. It might be that at some point he won't like what's coming out. And I hope that's the case. Maybe it will make him realize in order to defend himself or something, he's going to maybe attempt to establish contact after having been silent. Yep, the sun, there's exposure. And it's because he's not doing well. It's because a lack of funding, a lack of physical comfort, and physically just not in a good space, and mentally definitely not in a good space. So I think it's going to be a while, folks. I think he's going to, well, it could be a while. But there's a lot to it for sure. We got this many cards. I think he's looking to keep running, but I think he's going to get tired and reach out and finally make contact again, and he will be found. He's going to be really worried about being in trouble for leaving her with the Eight of Cups, the negligence and neglect, among other things. But here comes consequences. Yeah, he'll be brought in, hanged one. And there is also mourning and grieving. This tells me somebody, namely her, didn't make it, I don't think. Unless he is found that way himself. And that's a possibility. Especially after all this worry and fear. Hope. Night. Nine of Cups, Knight of Cups. I think she'll be found, but I think if he does something, then there is a worry that how, to find her. But regardless, I think they will. I'm shown that, I feel like. And I think, again, it could be near a lake or near water. Two of Cups. Yeah, there's a park that they were at, the two of them. One of the parks near water. Okay, so I'm going to leave my reading there. It's already at 43 minutes. So this is going to go on for a while, this case. But the law will be actively pursuing it the way they should. It looks like, for the most part anyway. All right, leave your thoughts below, please. Very interesting case. Let's just no matter what, we always want the best outcome that can be had. Let's all put some positives for that. All right, if you appreciate my content, please make sure to thumbs up, make sure you're subscribed, and share. And I'll see you in the next live. Which will be posting the question page today, right after this, okay? All right, and that's for tomorrow. I have a live at 3 p.m. Pacific time on Sundays. All right? Okay, bye-bye.